I got a short list here of the best gear purchases that I've ever made, at least what I could think of when I was doing it. First one is obviously, as I kind of went over it a bunch of times, is this tripod. Still shooting on it today. It was super sturdy, you know. It was from a reputable company, and I got one that was like, it was a bit over my budget. I spent like all the money I had on it at the time. But it's lasted me years. It's still going, and it's probably gonna go until like forever. I bought another tripod for my FS5 because I knew that that tripod, the bigger one, I didn't even necessarily need it because the FS5 is not a heavy camera. I bought this new tripod because I knew it would fit into other people's workflow. So this tripod right here, the little baby one, it's still being used, and not because, but it's not my main tripod, but not because it's not useful. Still very useful. And it's always good to have two tripods if you're doing corporate stuff too, but
not the one with the hook.
Not the one with the hook, of course. And as I covered, obviously the Dana Dolly. The Dana Dolly was like huge. I've used it on plenty of my own personal productions. I've rented it a million times. And it's such a good way to upgrade my production quality. But like, I'm not saying, like, again, I'm not saying go buy a Dana Dolly. You could buy a Dana Dolly if you find that that's what people want in your local industry. Chances are, unless you're working on bigger productions, no, you're never going to be able to rent a Dana Dolly. You need to know those kinds of people, and you need to be in those kinds of circles. But I don't know if those kinds of people are in a Facebook group that you're on. You could always post it in the Facebook group. But you don't want to give any. If you don't have it and you give someone else that idea, they're going to buy it first.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If they have more connections than you, then nobody's going to rent from you. So
be smart about it.
You got to be really smart about it. But you know, this is again good example of tapping into your local industry. The Canon Rebel T3i. I didn't really touch on this too much, but this thing, even by today's standards, is a fantastic camera, and I would recommend that. Like, if you, I wouldn't recommend you buy this camera as your first camera, in my opinion.
There are better cameras nowadays.
There are, but if you, I'm sure you could find one of these for nothing. Let's look at it right now. Kijiji.ca, doopy doo. Like, you could use this to jump your start, to shoot your, like, to make a career right now. You just need like some basic lighting. You don't need 4K. Don't just go out and get something because it's 4K. T3i, Canon EOS Rebel T3i with 8. Wow, it's still selling for $600. That's expensive for a T3i. This one's selling $300 with 3 lenses. Man, you could shoot so much shit on this fucking camera. Oh, 2 lenses. It's got 2 zooms. You could do corporate work on that. You could make money. You could make a living off of this and a $200 Amazon light set. You wouldn't even need audio. I know audio is super, super important, but there's plenty of things that require no audio. And if you do need audio for the specific shoot, you can spend like another $100 on a cheap shotgun mic. You get a cheap shotgun mic for $30 now that's just as effective as the one that I bought back in the day that I spent like $300 on. You get a cheap shotgun mic for literally like $30. It's more about the vicinity on the audio than it is necessarily about the mic quality in most cases. You just need to get close to your subject. You can get cheap shotgun mic, like a cheaper version of the Rode Micro ME or whatever. Like,
or just do the Amazon Labs.
Yeah, and then
hook it right up to the camera.
Right, exactly. Again, Amazon Lab, hook it up right up to the camera. I got this janky splitter, so I could have 2 mics going into one stereo input. So you got the shotgun mic going into the left channel, and then you got the lav going into the right channel. So you have a redundancy without spending any extra money. Like, it was basically nothing for the cable to do that. You know, like, you could have a career with basically nothing. It's all about strategizing. Not only your gear, honestly, a big part of it is strategizing your gear, because you know you could take this gig. Let's say you've already done one gig and you paid off your T3i kit and your lights and everything. You've made like $1,000 in the film industry, and you have like an okay kit. Now you're even. Anything you do now from now on is a profit. You could definitely make a career off that, 100%. So T3i was a fantastic camera, even by today's standards, with color and everything.
Fortunately, yours is gone now.
Yes. FS5 too. Yeah, I sold it. I feel bad about that. I should have kept it, but I needed money at the time. I wasn't too good at leveraging myself back then. FS5 has gotten me lots of gigs. Again, fits into a lot of people's workflow. And it's great on my own personal projects because I can output raw, record it on the Shogun, whatever. You guys don't care. Shogun Inferno, kind of already covered this. Fantastic. Like, here it is. See, this guy's using it. This is my Shogun Inferno that I rented to the production. And I was the second AC, so I'm slating and stuff, and he's focus pulling. He's using my shit. And I had a Mayfer clamp that I bought with it. I made sure you could like mount it and stuff, spend a little extra money on it. Renting it to the production. I don't think I made a shit ton of money on the rentals for that one because they were like my buddies.
And it was a fairly small.
Yeah. But still, making money that I wouldn't have made otherwise.
Yeah.
And ultimately paying that off. And still using it today as a useful piece of kit. And then, another thing, probably the best thing that I've ever invested in was just like all my lighting. Every light that I've ever bought has, except for the little tiny lights that go on your camera. Those are the ones that I see people buy the most because they're cheap and they're accessible, but they are useless.
Like the flash?
No, they're like, it'd be like this, like an LED light, a constant LED light. Then they're small and they come with like a little hot shoe mount usually. Aperture makes a bunch that are RGB that are really cool. Those, I would say they're valuable to buy as an extra, but I would not buy one of those. Don't make that your first light purchase. The amount of people I see on Twitter and YouTube who are buying those as like their main lights, it's fucking useless. You'll never make $1 off that light. And I know not everything is about making $1, but save those purchases for later when you're making the dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you have the money to invest in that, take that money and put it into a cheap Amazon light kit. You can even get cheaper ones than $200. Get one big softbox. That would get you would make so much more money off of a softbox than you would that has shitty, that takes forever to set up, and it comes with some shitty like $2 stand from Cowboy Studio or newer or whatever, and it has like fluorescent lights in it.
Just give yourself more setup time.
Exactly. Or like pre-set it up and leave it set up in your car. I've done that because I'm like, I don't, it might look stupid, but you can set up fast. You can get the job done. You get the money. Like,
get the money.
Get that fucking money. So yeah, don't buy those. I would say those are the lights that I don't use. I use those very little. I use, my big lights more because they're just more useful. I use those little ones occasionally. But I guess Shay, I'm in a unique position where I have a gaffer as like a really good friend. So he brings a lot of those like fun lights. But I mean, again, you can invest in those lights, little aperture lights, invest in those later. Right now, just go to Amazon and get like, we saw one light for $50. It was a softbox. Fucking buy that. It's the same price. I'm pretty sure those little aperture lights are like $50. I think those are such a stupid waste of money unless you're just doing YouTube videos and stuff. That's fine. It's okay in the context of like that.
But if you want to make money off of your gear, that's not how you do it.
No, if you're trying to like actually have a career in this, then you're wasting your fucking time.
And money.
Yeah, exactly. Buy things that you can like light other people with, and you'd be happy to like show up on a corporate shoot with. They don't know that it's like that Newer is like a shitty brand. They don't know that like Cowboy Studio is a shitty brand. They're just people that want to give you money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not going to know the specifics. They're just going to know, hey, that's a big light.
Right, exactly. They just want you to do a good job, and as long as you can deliver on that product effectively, that should be your main goal. It shouldn't be to have the name brand thing. It shouldn't be to have the aperture thing. By the way, Polar Pro fucking sucks. I'm killing my brand or my relationship with them before I even have a
relationship.
I'm killing my relationship with them before I even have one or before I even have anything, because I don't believe in their product. If you're gonna buy some filters, don't buy that, just all the name brand shit. I'm not saying Polar Pro is like horrible. There's just better value out there. And same with Aperture. Aperture is a fantastic company. I love their lights, but it's not always the way to go. It's not always the thing that you should buy just because all the YouTubers are buying it. Drives me crazy. That was a bit of a rant. RoboCups, we already talked about that. It was fucking great. Quality camera hardware is really important because it's something you'll use forever on your career. If you're ever doing AC work, like I do, or even DPing stuff, you'll use the camera hardware. So like rods and like 15, like just rods and stuff, things that you'll use. Cat's just using this place as a jungle gym as usual. So yeah, that's really important. I got this the Rock and Roller Multicart. This thing was something I invested in later. You don't need it, definitely, but like
just handy.
Oh man, when you start collecting gear, your back really, really suffers when you're doing, and especially if it's low budget stuff that you have to do yourself, or you can't hire enough crew to bring your gear in and
And
stuff.
if you live in an apartment where you don't have an elevator.
Yeah, this is huge. So yeah, oh, this is just like gear.
Like
This is just my gear now.
Okay.
Right, yeah, okay. So this is just the gear that I have now. Finally, it's
An
like this
actual computer.
started from the bottom, now we here. I'm not gonna take credit for all this. Everything here is mine except for this lens. That's Shay's. I just wanted to get a cooler lens. This is actually for a video that I'm yet to release. It's coming out very soon. This is part of an animation that I'm doing. That's part of promo for that video. And this is also Shay's battery. But like the battery mounts and everything, all that shit's mine. I use the battery mounts on other shoots for other people's gear because I rig up cameras essentially when I'm ACing. That's like my job. So I need lots of camera rigging stuff. Yeah, that's my follow focus and all that shit. That's like stuff that I rent to productions, make money off of the follow focus. This is just a top down shit. This is just me humble bragging. Not so humble bragging. Nice computer. But the computer helps me make money too. It is a gradual, that's the thing. It's all gradual upgrades. But it's not as gradual as people lead you to believe. And also to people who just want to be YouTubers or influencers or whatever, if you have a 4K camera and you have any aspiration to be in the video industry, you can still be a YouTuber and like get clients and shit. Like, why would you not? Go make some fucking money. I see a lot of people like on Twitter complaining about not having enough money to buy gear and shit. I saw it today. I'm not gonna mention who it was because I don't want any bad blood. But I see so much stupid shit on Twitter from like these YouTube filmmakers and people who want to be them, but they don't understand. Maybe it's not that they understand, but I don't know. I don't think they understand that there's so many different ways to make money in film, and it doesn't mean you have to detract from your main goal. Me being a camera assistant just doesn't detract from my main goal. It helps me learn how a set works, and ultimately makes me better at DPing and directing. So like if your goal is to be an influencer, if you don't want to be on set and stuff, I highly recommend you just do it anyway. Like, just go on set and just try and leverage your gear in some ways, because the benefits are so huge and you can get so much gear without spending any money. You can get great film contacts. You can learn a lot of stuff, all if you just like take some time to leverage your relationships and your gear in a way that helps you.
It makes you the money.
Yeah, rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping and praying that oh, I bought the T3i. Hopefully someone hires me because they see my demo reel and it's so good. And why wouldn't someone hire me because I'm so good at what I do? There's like 10,000 other people that are doing things that are just as good as you, and they have less or more gear than you, and everyone has the same opportunity to make that money, but you need to take that time and that initiative to leverage it. And this isn't a definitive guide in any way.
There is no one way to succeed in the film industry.
There is no one way, but I'm just hoping that this gets people thinking a little bit more strategically about how they're buying gear, and understanding that the gear really, really, really matters to the rest of your career, and how your career is shaping right now. And that doesn't mean you have to buy the best gear, but you need to understand how that gear can benefit you and how you can leverage that current gear and your relationships to ultimately get more gear, and that other gear will lean to more relationships. It's really it is a game. You got to gamify it in a way of sort of like understanding what you have and what other people want,